Blake Lively is reportedly facing serious backlash, and it's more than just tabloid gossip. Actress Felisha Cooper, who once worked closely with her family, has come forward with claims about Blake's past behavior, offering a perspective that contrasts sharply with her public image. For years, Blake has been seen as Hollywood's polished America's sweetheart, a red carpet regular with a carefully curated persona. But according to Felisha, there's a different side to her that fans rarely see. Felisha's connection to the Lively family wasn't casual. She was discovered by Blake's mother, Elaine Lively, while working at a restaurant. From there, she was mentored by Blake's sisters, Lori Lively and Robin Lively, and supported by the family as she began building her career. Elaine even became her first manager and helped her secure representation. Despite that support, Felisha claims her experience with Blake herself was very different. She alleges that Blake often treated her as if she were invisible, or worse, like hired help, rather than someone being welcomed into the family's professional circle. According to Felisha Cooper, the behavior she experienced wasn't just a one-off bad day or a fleeting mood. It was consistent. She described it plainly, not jealousy or pettiness, but what she saw as mean-spirited, entitled, and even narcissistic behavior. Felisha emphasized that there was no rivalry between them. At the time, she says she was still working service jobs while Blake Lively was already a major Hollywood star. From her perspective, there was nothing to compete over, yet she still felt subjected to dismissive treatment and subtle digs. Her claims raise a broader question. If someone could treat a person supported by their own family this way, how might they treat those they don't know at all? Felisha also suggested that she isn't alone in her experience. According to her, others in the industry have witnessed similar behavior but are reluctant to speak publicly. She claims that behind the scenes, some even use the nickname Fake Lively, pointing to a perceived gap between Blake's warm public persona and how she allegedly behaves privately. She didn't stop there. Felisha also criticized Ryan Reynolds, using harsh language and sharing a personal anecdote that she says was especially upsetting given her long-time attachment to certain childhood interests. She referenced one of his well-known movie lines to underline her point, suggesting a disconnect between public image and private conduct. For Felisha, this isn't just about isolated moments of rudeness. It's about what she describes as a pattern and a deeper mindset, where people in service roles may be viewed as less important. Coming from a background where she worked her way up through persistence and effort, she says that kind of attitude is especially difficult to accept. She also made it clear that she isn't speaking out for attention. With years of experience in the entertainment industry, including roles in shows like Swedish Dicks and The Bold and the Beautiful, as well as work in TV movies and digital content, she believes she has established herself without needing controversy. Instead, she says she's speaking out because she's tired of seeing toxic behavior overlooked or excused. Adding another layer to the story, Felisha reflected on Blake's family background. She noted that Blake's mother, Elaine Lively, rebuilt her life after leaving a difficult past, even changing her name as part of a fresh start. For Felisha, that history makes the alleged behavior feel even more contradictory, raising questions about how someone connected to a story of resilience could, in her view, treat others as disposable. Now, she says, the industry is starting to pay attention. She then points to what she describes as a pivotal moment, an incident at the Cheesecake Factory that, in her view, marked the first time this contrast between public image and private behavior became unmistakable. According to Felisha, that night wasn't ordinary. It was when, she claims, the facade began to crack. According to Felisha Cooper, there was a moment that stood out while she was working at a restaurant, balancing long shifts while pursuing acting opportunities on the side, like many aspiring performers in Hollywood. One day, Blake Lively reportedly walked in during a time when her fame was rapidly rising, following her success on Gossip Girl and high-profile public attention, including her widely covered relationship with Leonardo DiCaprio. Felisha says she approached Blake politely, warm, respectful, and perhaps a bit starstruck but professional. However, she claims the response she received felt dismissive and cold, as if she were being ignored entirely. In her view, it wasn't just awkward. It felt deliberate and uncomfortable, especially given her prior connection to the Lively family. What made the situation more difficult for her was that Blake's mother, Elaine Lively, had previously supported her early career. From Felisha's perspective, that history made the interaction feel even more disappointing. Around the same period, Felisha says she was preparing for an important audition, one that could have significantly impacted her career. She was being coached by Robin Lively, Blake's sister and someone she considered a mentor. However, Felisha claims that tension and stress linked to Blake's alleged behavior were affecting the environment, making it harder to focus during a critical moment. For Felisha, that experience became a turning point. She says it shaped how she viewed Blake, not as the polished public figure often seen in media, but as someone whose private behavior didn't align with that image. She also referenced a nickname she claims to have heard, Fake Lively, suggesting a contrast between Blake's carefully curated public persona and how she is perceived behind the scenes. According to Felisha, the public image presents someone warm, relatable, and down-to-earth, while her alleged private demeanor feels very different. Felisha further suggested that others in the entertainment industry may share similar impressions but hesitate to speak openly due to potential professional risks. In an environment where reputations carry significant weight, she believes many choose to stay silent. As for Felisha, she presents herself as someone unwilling to ignore what she describes as inauthentic behavior, choosing instead to speak candidly about her experiences. According to Felisha Cooper, the issue goes beyond a single unpleasant interaction. She frames it as something deeper, raising questions about patterns of behavior and how people treat others when they feel untouchable or surrounded only by agreement and praise. In her view, repeated experiences like these point to a broader dynamic, where public image and private conduct may not always align. She suggests that when no one challenges that behavior, it can become normalized over time. Felisha maintains that her perspective isn't rooted in jealousy or pettiness, but in what she describes as first-hand experience. She believes the stories she's shared form a larger picture, one that contrasts sharply with the polished image often associated with Blake Lively. She also extended her criticism to Ryan Reynolds, claiming that his public persona as charming and humorous doesn't match how she perceives him privately. Her remarks were strongly worded, describing what she sees as arrogance and entitlement behind the scenes. Felisha further suggested that others in the entertainment industry may hold similar views, but choose not to speak openly due to professional risks. According to her, reputations in Hollywood can discourage people from publicly criticizing high-profile figures. As these claims circulate, they also highlight how carefully managed celebrity images can be challenged when personal accounts come forward. However, it's important to note that these are allegations and personal perspectives, and they have not been independently verified. The situation, as described, reflects a broader conversation about public perception versus private behavior in the entertainment industry, especially when well-known figures are involved. According to Felisha Cooper, her experience went beyond a single uncomfortable moment. She described feeling publicly dismissed during her time working at a restaurant and recalled how, during an important audition, the atmosphere was affected by stress she attributes to tensions involving Blake Lively. Felisha portrays what she sees as a consistent pattern, one where individuals without status, such as service workers or aspiring actors, are treated as less important. She contrasts this with Blake's well-known public image, which has long been associated with charm, elegance, and relatability. Because of Felisha's close connection to the Lively family, having been discovered and supported early in her career by Blake's mother, Elaine Lively, and mentored by her sisters, she believes her perspective carries weight. In her view, this wasn't an outsider's impression, but the experience of someone who had first-hand access to that environment. She also claims that, As these stories gain attention, there has been increased effort behind the scenes to manage the narrative and maintain a positive public image. However, it's important to emphasize that these are personal allegations and have not been independently verified. Felisha frames her decision to speak out as part of a broader frustration with what she sees as a culture in Hollywood, where difficult behavior can be overlooked if someone is successful or well-liked publicly. She argues that environments filled with constant praise and little accountability can allow negative traits to go unchecked. In her view, this isn't just about specific individuals. It's about a larger system that rewards image over authenticity. She describes an industry where people may hesitate to speak honestly, while carefully curated personas continue to dominate public perception. To highlight the contrast, Felisha also shared a positive encounter with Zendaya. She recalled meeting her at the same restaurant, describing the interaction as warm, respectful, and genuine. According to Felisha, Zendaya greeted her kindly, stood up to acknowledge her, and created a moment that felt sincere rather than performative. For Felisha, that experience represented the kind of grounded behavior she believes should be more common, regardless of fame or status. According to Felisha Cooper, one of her most memorable positive experiences came from meeting Zendaya. She recalls that Zendaya didn't just offer a quick greeting. She took time to acknowledge everyone present, interacting warmly with the entire team. There were no cameras or publicity involved, just what Felisha describes as genuine kindness and humility. For her, it was a moment that left a lasting impression and showed how meaningful simple respect can be. In contrast, Felisha also shared a less positive encounter with Elizabeth Banks. She says this happened shortly after she left her restaurant job to fully pursue acting, a time when she felt both hopeful and vulnerable. While helping at a private event, Felisha recalls offering Banks a drink in a polite and professional manner, but says the interaction felt cold and dismissive. She later attempted to assist again by offering to take a photo, hoping to be helpful, but describes receiving a similarly distant response. For Felisha, moments like these carried emotional weight, not just because of the interactions themselves, but because of where she was in her journey at the time. Even so, she emphasizes that she chose to remain composed and professional throughout. She frames these contrasting experiences as a reflection of a broader reality within the entertainment industry, that public image doesn't always match personal behavior, and that small acts of kindness, or lack thereof, can leave a strong impact. Ultimately, Felisha presents herself as someone who values honesty and authenticity. While she's willing to speak critically about her experiences, she also highlights the importance of staying grounded and respectful, regardless of status or success.